Greetings, ladies and melogents, and welcome to the latest narration of the web series Accidentally Adopted. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description, and as always, I hope that you enjoy. Part 2, Chapter 2, Hands. Journal entry 10, date 1/2/2. Name, Greg George. Well, crap, this is fucking great. The not great thing was I had another nightmare. It's getting easier to write, but it's not less hard to wake up to. This time, I was in the arena fighting Carlos with a grub growing out of his head. Thank you, subconscious. I really needed that fear mixed with the pit fight trauma. I really wanted to wake up with wide eyes and panting. Weirdly, I had one of Linus's plush toys in my berth. I put it back in his room for him. He must have dropped it or something. Okay, first thing is I didn't get booted for property damage or being psychologically unstable. Hell yeah. Second thing is Zeno's bacon. Well, almost bacon. Since they tossed all of the toxic plants plus some others, I figured the meat was safe according to the scanner at the vet. Protein and fat, my dude. Hell yeah. Also, I'm now trustworthy enough to not be watched while hanging out with Linus. We were going to make some modifications to the Roomba thing, since while I was getting him to tell me nouns, it came in the room and beeped at him to make him move. Some of his toys twitched at the noise. Hello, target identification and action execution systems. Hell yeah. I've always been jealous of bot troopers on account of how they ride their gear instead of lugging it around in the dark. Explosions aren't very subtle, though. Anyway, I evolved the noun game to get please and thank you out of Linus, and then we shot each other with the foam darts until Mom got annoyed at the noise. Then it was more cartoons, and this was a very special episode about being nice to kids different to you. One of the characters was mute. Holy crap. I was fecking all over the goddamn moons, fecking sign language. I pointed to the mute character, then to me, then shrugged.
Yeah, you can talk like that,
Linus said. Wise boy. He must have seen how fecking excited I was for that crap on account of how he scampered off calling, Mommy, can we have cartoons with more hand talking? Or something close. I picked out Mommy, can cartoons hand and talk? Then Linus had to tell her that I wanted cartoons with that in them. She gently said something about me just liking pretty something or other. Mom is now my second favorite adult. Nothing to make her pay over. But I could talk to my brothers with RCHS the last time. Making noise was too terrifying to try, so the sign language would work. Linus was insistent that I know things, because he's a smart toddler and doesn't have a bias towards assuming that I'm just a smart chimp. Well, ook bingo want to talk. It's pretty easy to pick up on signs for words I already know, but a lot of them are supposed to use two hands on one side, and since I came with the standard issue single pair, I had to sort of improvise a suggestion of making complex gestures with one or other hand. Linus seemed to get what I was going for. The other trouble was the absolute shit ton of signs. See, the nerds who cooked up RCHS realized that making one gesture in a squad stack before breach could be reused in the rec room to ask for a beer and not confuse anybody, because obviously the context changes the meaning. This sign language was probably one that formed more naturally, though, so not very many versatile gestures. I'll be able to apologize for fecking up the psyche eval. Hell yeah. We only got through like 2 episodes before Lucy came back, likely from class. She brought more modified clothes, so I decided to change into them in case Susan was around. It doesn't cost anything to be polite, after all. It turned out that I was right, and Susan was around, and all of the other kids minus Surly. I wonder if being grounded is a thing for Bleevuses. Regardless, it was apparently time to take the toddlers out to the gymnasium for a little exercise. Now, I'm not the most techie dirt pounder out there, but I recognized a grab belt when I saw one. Looked like I was finally going to get some proper exercise. Lucy told me that the belt was okay and wouldn't hurt me, so I tried to look reassuring. I trust you, Lucy. We're friends. Friends who live together because one of us was kidnapped, but that's not your fault, Lucy. I felt myself go to 1G, and dang, I was heavy. Well, I always adapted quickly to physical changes, so it wasn't a surprise that I was used to low G. I briefly thought about starting a PT routine, but the kids thought that the toddlers, 6 others besides Linus, needed tricking into exercise. Well, I had my hard-earned toddler status, So my workout was a game of tag and then a game involving catching a 5-pound ball and tossing it along within 5 seconds of the catch. The goal was to be the last one standing, so your passes were supposed to be difficult to catch. Now, the normal, mature thing to do would be to make sure that I worked up a sweat, but be careful not to hurt the kids' feelings. I crushed them firmly to assert myself as the king of the toddlers. I don't know what I was down-checked from, but I'm still on board, and my hosts still like me. I think I heard Pops talking about taking me around something at dinner. If that means what I think it means, that'll kick ass. When Mom started talking about me and the bath in the same sentence, I broke her line of sight and kept it that way long enough to hide the overhead cabinets. I waited for everyone to quit looking at me, then slipped into the head, locking the door, and ran a bath. I'm keeping my dignity this time, Mom. Dear Diary, Sneaky's back to normal. Well, normal for him anyways, which is doing stuff that doesn't make much sense. A couple of things. Yoiv thinks that Sneaky's having bad dreams, because he said that he heard rustling from Sneaky's room and saw him tossing in his sleep and breathing hard. Well, Yoiv needed a little help to say so, but he's a smart little guy, and we found his words quickly. Mom says that when Yoiv wanted to play, Sneaky jumped right into it, instead of just laying around looking sad. So maybe he recovered from the test by just feeling safe with his pack. The other thing is now Yoiv keeps talking to him like he expects Sneaky to understand. Mom keeps trying to correct him, but Yoiv is smart for his age. That's why I did a little research, and I found that there are actually a bunch of lemurs. We still think he's a weird tailless lemur, who are about as smart as a 4 to 6-year-old. Nobody's been able to teach one to talk, but they do learn to listen. So maybe Sneaky can listen to us. It seemed like he is sometimes, and he did break that intelligence test, but I didn't find out about that until after dinner. When we were finished with the class, Rigney came along with me to get Yoiv so she could give Sneaky some of the clothes she adjusted for him. Hopefully he won't care that they're old, and like them anyway, because she's having lots of fun. She brought a plushie for Yoiv too, and I know he'll love it. Anyways, Uncle Yimdril met me on the way, and he said that Daddy asked him if he could find the old PGD and adjust it according to the estimates that we got from the scan. Well, he said that everyone's proud of me, which was super embarrassing because Rigney was right there, and gave it to me. Food and exercise, and the right kinds, not just guesses. We picked up Sneaky and Yoiv, and Sneaky put on clothes Rigney had made him right away. Well, either he likes the clothes or he likes her. Or maybe he likes making people happy. That would fit in with what I researched. Anyway, when we got to the gym, I decided to do things Yoiv's way and tell Sneaky that the grav belt wouldn't hurt him. When it activated, he looked surprised and then maybe a little excited. Weird. Anyways, since he's good at playing games, we thought that he could get exercise by playing games with the littles. Well, he played the games. He was good at both chase and long catch, even though he looked like he was going slower than the last time he ran in there. Well, since he's used to the ship's gravity, and since I didn't want to fry the PGD, I turned it off, and took it off for him. He was sweaty, smelly, and really happy, so I think he likes the games being harder. Daddy wants to take him along on the ship's rounds today, but he said it's up to me. It's been like over a week since I spent time going over the ship systems with Daddy. I'm thinking, yes. Log 6,000,9.05. Personal. Captain Yomdril. Tossing all the hazardous food seemed to work. At least Sneaky tucked into breakfast as soon as it was before him, and very obviously loved Trevdy's cooking. Well, of course, my wife is a superb cook. It was and is her hobby. Additionally, she says that he's back to his energetic self, which by the stars is a relief. The object-getting game is getting more complex, and I have my doubts about Yomdril coming up with a rule requiring him to say please and thank you to continue the game. I plan on talking over all the weird things Sneaky does tomorrow, or maybe the next day. We need to re-examine our premises. Well, getting unclamped was no trouble at all, and I savored commanding the jump to hyperspace. The only really fun part about captaining a long-haul trader, if any other part of your voyage is exciting, then things have gone very sideways on you, after all. Still though, it's fun to discuss our course with a full bridge crew, decide on our destination and route, and execute. I'm just getting contemplative because Trendy's growing up. I took the first warm body shift, so I asked Yemdril if he could scrounge up a personal grav for Sneaky, and gave him the estimations off the scan. At least we got something useful out of that void sucker. It worked just fine and Sneaky readily accepted it. So my favorite tinkerer just have gotten the crab field to end just inside Sneaky's body. Well, I broached my cunning plan to spend more time with my little girl, and admittedly Sneaky too, at dinner. I can't wait to see Sneaky in his little work jumpsuit. He did his disappearing trick shortly after Trevor mentioned giving him a bath, and later reappeared in the bathroom behind a locked door.
I better go in there and bathe him,
Trevor muttered with a matronly zeal.
Hart, did you not notice he smells like Yoiv's shampoo? Of course, somebody's bathing him. Why don't we wait for him to come out and see whether he's clean? I don't care how strong he is. If he's not clean, I'll get him clean.
He was clean. He did need help with his hair, though. It was a pitiful attempt at a braid. End of chapter. I would just like to thank the T5 supporters: Bushmaster 117, Casper Arnholtz, Dragzoon W.R.E, Elijah Silvercross, Gray, Jon Carrington, and Sevaren Serberous. Thank you very much.